Hello, everyone. Hi, welcome to the first edition of the Tech Resilience Show inside Oracle Maximum Availability Architecture, MAA series. Your mission, always available and never down. I'm your host, Francisco Munoz Alvarez, a distinguished product manager with the MAA team. Today, we will be talking about an amazing product called Active Data Guard and ADG for many people also know as for an ADG for many people. So what is ADG? Let's take a look on that. Let me introduce you guys to ADG. So hopefully we don't have any technical issues today. We're just the first time using this platform. Hope everything works well. So Oracle Active Data Guard is an amazing product that many people knows as from long time ago as part of the Enterprise Edition. We have the Data Guard itself. That's part of the Enterprise Edition. But many people do not know much about Active Data Guard, this different version of Data Guard. Some people that know a little bit also always tell me, Francisco, Active Data Guard for me is only a read-only database. But I can tell you that Active Data Guard is way more than that. When I ask customers, oh, do you use the Active Data Guard? Some people tell me, no, Francisco, not that much, because I wanted to use it for read only. But the problem is I use some reporting tools like Crystal Report. Crystal Report do also some small DMLs with their reporting tables. And because that Active Data Guard is only a read-only database, I'm not able to use it because I cannot do DMLs. And other people ask, but do you try to run batches on the Active Data Guard database? They respond me, Francisco, sadly I can't, because 80 or 85% of my workload on my batches are selects, and 10 to 15% they are update, deletes of inserts, DMLs. And in that case, I cannot use a read-only database. For that, we have good news, because Active Data Guard is much, much more than a read-only database. Active Data Guard allows you to do writes if you need it. In that case, you can do DMLs now if your report technology like Crystal Report asks for it. If your batches have a low percentage of DML, 15, 20%, you can use a DML redirection for that. And DML redirection, as the name says, that allow you to do DMLs in the standby, but will redirect the DMLs to the primary, will be executed that, and then refresh it to the standby database. And many other things. You can even use with ADG, you can automatically fix block corruptions. If your primary has any block corrupted, they will use your standby to fix it, and vice versa, and much, much more. But we will be talking a little bit more in depth today about this product. But this is the first product we are highlighting the show in the first edition. And I would like to introduce my guests. I have as a customer today the honor of having Mr. Andreas. He is the IT Information and Data Delivery Service Department Head and IT Application Services in the BNI Bank in Indonesia. He is here today. And for the developer side, we have Mr. Nitin Karkhanis. Hopefully I spelled that well. I pronunciate that well, Nitin. Oracle Software Developer Senior Director. So let me get Andreas to introduce yourself. Just 1 second, Andreas. Just going to put you here in the system, and we can then get you. Welcome to the show, Andreas. If you can introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, Francisco. Hi, Nitin. Hi, everyone. My name is Andreas. I'm the IT Information and Data Delivery Services Department Head on our IT Application Services in BNI. Bank Negara Indonesia. Bank Negara Indonesia already established in 1946, so it's quite old. We were the first. We are state-owned enterprise, and we were the first bank publicly listed in 1996. Currently, we are number 4 in Indonesia in terms of the total assets, total credits, and customer custodial fund. Currently, we are serving more than 60 million customers.
That's great. Thank you so much, Andreas. I will also now to get to introduce yourself, Nitin. Just 1 second. I just going to do the switch here to Nitin, and there we go. Welcome to the show, Nitin. If you can introduce a little bit of yourself and what you does, the amazing job you do internally in Oracle.
Thank you, Francisco. Hello, Andreas. Hello, everyone. My name is Nitin Karkanis, and I manage the DataGuard broker and DataGuard redo transport components of DataGuard. My teams collaborate with Oracle's cloud teams, other development groups, MAA team, our product management team, and lots of customers to ensure we're solving the high availability and disaster recovery problems for the most demanding mission critical environments. That's my team's mission. And that's what we do day to day. We live and breathe Oracle DataGuard.
Fantastic. I know that ADG is a very important product for many organizations around the world that not only protects a database for disaster recovery using remote standbys, but also for HA using local standbys. How challenging is it for you and your team to keep this technology up to date and competitive in the current market?
It's certainly a challenge, Francisco. Oracle DataGuard is the gold standard, right, when it comes to protecting your mission critical data. Our competitors are constantly innovating their own products to demonstrate they have parity with what DataGuard can do, or maybe even do more. So we constantly are monitoring the competitive landscape. We work with our product management teams on a regular basis to make sure we not only continue to provide the best, but we stay ahead of our competition and always demonstrate that when it comes to safeguarding your Oracle database, Oracle DataGuard is the only way for you to do that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nitin. Now let's switch to Andreas. Just 1 second. And all right, Andreas. I have a question for you. My understanding is that your organization is deeply invested in using Active Data Guard. As per example, on the screen that I will show in just in a few moments, we can see that your core environment uses ADG for HA, reporting, and disaster recovery scenarios. What compliance and regulatory requirements do you have that ADG help you with?
So mostly on our reporting, because with ADG we can have the standby or the local standby available for read-only access, so we can directly hit that instance for all the reporting needs that we have. So it won't affect any on the primary side.
Sounds great. Are you currently using some key features of Active Data Guard like DML redirection or fast start failover? If not, why not, Andreas?
Okay. Yeah, for now, we are still not using everything still. We are planning to use it, but for now, we are trying to develop the application active first or cross-site. We want to stabilize the system. Actually, now it's already in production. We have the active application side, cross-site, both in the DC1 and DC2. Everything is there, but the next step will be DML redirection and FSFO. For FSFO, we are still have to change the driver to OCI driver to make use of it.
Correct. If my understanding is correct, one of the main reasons that you do not use a fast start failover today, for the people in the show that do not know what fast start failover is, fast start failover is an automation tool that basically allow you to automatically do a role transition or failover from your primary database to your standby database in case of a disaster recovery scenario. As per example, in the normal cases, you can do a simulation test of a disaster scenario using your DRP and your offices. And of course, you have in the room everyone that is have out their own tasks in case of a scenario. You do the simulation and everything goes well. You kill the database. You have one person that start doing the failover, other one start moving the application in the background, and so on. And all goes well. And finish, they said, okay, your RTO, recovery time objective, how much time we can afford to be without the services, is 15 minutes. And okay, our exercise took 12 minutes. Fantastic. We are fulfilling our SLA. Is all good and no problems at all. But that's not real life. Real life, an incident like this will happen, let's see, just after New Year celebrations, when everybody is a little bit hungover, will happen around 3, 4 a.m., when the DBA on charge for do the steps of the failover is deeply sleeping, and when after a few minutes of the incident, he will then get the alert. And when he gets the alert, he needs to wake up, kind of be sure of the alert he's reading properly, turn on the laptop. Of course, he's using Windows. First thing that happened is a patch update. You need to wait it to complete. It completed. Then he go connected to the VPN, connect to the jump box, and then he start the process. That means something that in the simulation took a few minutes can take many minutes or even a couple hours in the real life. Basically, it's not now fulfilling your SLA of your RTO of 15 minutes. Fast start failover basically comes to avoid all this. You have now an observer that's looking on if your standby database, your insurance is alive, is looking if your primary database is alive. If your primary is not responding anymore, he will start a failover automatically. And that is something that can save a lot of time and a lot of human interaction. It's an automation that we have with Oracle and with DataGuard. And the key point of this is many people that I suspect, like you, if I'm not wrong, it's don't trust much on automation and don't want to have a failover without reason, because a failover is very costly with the company and will cause downtime. And that's why fast start failovers you can activate it on do the failover automatically or only to report. That means it can only let you know that the incident happened, and then you can tune but to avoid the false positives during this time. But one of the main reasons I suspect you have, Andreas, and many people is don't trust too much on automation. Is that the case with you, Andreas?
Yes, I'm on very traditional DBA where I don't see, I have a lot of experience, painful experience with automation. That's why I tend to make sure all this technology, although it's already in place, I really want to test it out thoroughly before we are using it. For now, the mitigation for us is having a 24 hours team looking after the database, especially because this one is our core banking. So we really don't want to rely too much. But again, because now we have the active application cross-site already. So what we are planning to have is making sure also that the application is using the OCI driver. Why? Because we want to make sure that the transparent application failover is happening. Because without that driver, then the TAF won't be working well. So we still need to do manual work if we do the FSFO without that, isn't it?
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andreas. I'm just going to switch now to a question for Nitin. Nitin, as you can see, some customers are still unsure about using automation capabilities like fast start failover. As a developer building, maintain, and improve these kind of features, what would you say to try to minimize this kind of thinking of concern from our customers?
I think Andreas's concern is it's legitimate. We understand it. We've heard it from customers in the past. But I think the message is simple here, right? When you have this kind of unexpected downtime, unplanned downtime, you can't afford to extend that downtime by either human errors, in indecision, or trying to recover the primary. And we've seen people do that. And what can be, maybe minutes of downtime can be hours if they really start, debugging it too much. And so FISFO was conceived in 10.2, and customers deployed it almost immediately. And almost every one of them has told me that FISFO has enabled them to honor their business continuity requirements. And in fact, many have noticed that an automatic unattended failover occurred, and they hadn't even noticed it until hours later. So the failover was seamless and fast, and their pagers didn't even get a chance to go off. And they only noticed it later when they came back to the office. So it saved them in the middle of the night when, I think we all know in the middle of the night, we don't always do our best thinking. So, this is where it has saved our, some critical customers quite a bit of time. Let me add one more thing, right? Oracle, we ourselves rely on fast start failover for some of our cloud internal deployments. The parts of our cloud that make the cloud available to our customers, we protect that with fast start failover. So my point is that we have a mission critical need ourselves, and we're solving that problem with fast start failover.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Now, Andreas, I know that BNI has had a very exciting journey to become one of Indonesia's top banks technologically. Could you please give us a short overview of this journey since before 2004 up to if not wrong, before 2004, you guys were using a different database technologies. After 2004, you guys started using Oracle. And from last year, if not wrong, 2024, you guys also started with a new journey with Oracle Exadata. Can you just talk a little bit more about this journey?
Yes. So the journey started in 2004, where we moved out from our old system where everything is decentralized, and then we use the current core banking using Oracle. So everything is centralized, and at the first time we are still using kind of monolith approach where we are using the only a single machine, uh, single instance, and after that we move to RAC. But there were some challenges at that time because we are using the IPM technology HACP, where there might be a possible split brain there because of the difference of architecture, where the technology from IPM is actually active passive, while RAC is actually active active. So that's why before 2000, I think it's around 2016 or 2016, it was back again to a single instance up until 2024, where we moved to Exadata, the current one. We are actually back using RAC. And because we are moving from the old system X to Exadata x86, we are also doing the migration last time because it's different Indian. We move it also using with the help of the advanced customer support using the Golden Gate. And for the future, we are looking at more implementation of the Oracle sharding for our new mobile banking. So we are still hoping to really use this new technology also.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. On the screen, I can see that you guys had some improvements and benefits with regarding to migrating for the previous environment that you guys have for Exadata. And also, I also can see on the screen that you have also by some kind of regulations, you have to have you need to run for a few weeks per year your production environment and your disaster recovery hardware, just to prove that they can run without problems and the role transition happens with no problems. I can notice because your production environment is on Exadata and use a generic hardware, not Exadata, for your disaster recovery. Of course, as I can see in the screen, you mentioned that you have some performances variations, especially on batching. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yes, actually, moving into Exadata, we are doing it quite slow. That's why we are doing it for now. It's on the primary, but for the standby, we are still using the generic or commodity x86. But in the near future, we are considering to have also another Exadata in place.
Fantastic. In that case, you guys have a very good, so good experience having Exadata on the primary that your objective for the future is to have another Exadata for disaster recovery. That way, when you need to run your workloads on the disaster recovery hardware, you will have the same performance that production, correct?
Correct.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's switch then for Nitin. I have a question for you. With the new version of the database recently released last year, we're talking about 23AI, Oracle Database 23AI. What key new features with regards to DataGar or Active DataGar would you like to introduce to the audience?
Sure, I'd be happy to do that. So I think the right away, what I talk about is we have improved the role transition time. So we recognize, particularly in either the unplanned or the downtime, unplanned or planned downtime, the database switchover or failover time can be kind of expensive, right? And we're working hard to cut that down. So we are now seeing a 62% decrease in failover time from 19C. And switchover time is overall decreased by 72%. So, and that's for a database with a 4-node rack with 500 data files. So good size, medium-sized database. You've talked about DML redirection a few times, Francisco. One thing we've worked on is to improve the performance of DML redirection. We have now gotten to a point of zero application downtime for DBMS rolling upwards. When you're doing a rolling upgrade, you can give those applications a zero downtime feeling, right? And we've done this by integrating transparent application continuity with DBMS rolling. Within DataGuard Broker, one of the requests that we had was setting up taking a production database and now making it doing the work you have to do to allow it to be a primary database. There's lots of steps you have to go through, right? Setting various parameters, enabling archive log mode, creating SRLs, all this kind of stuff. So now within DataGuard DG Manager, the command line, there's a simple command, one-line command, prepare database for DataGuard. Will take care of all that stuff for you, make sure all of the details is done for you. It's just simplifying your life. We have new methods to configure and manage DataGuard. DataGuard management is now integrated to SQL CL. We have a fixed package, a SQL PL SQL package where you can write your own management tool. All of the APIs for managing a DataGuard configuration, DataGuard Broker configuration, are in that package. And we've also integrated DataGuard Broker with Oracle REST data services. So it's another way where you could write a management interface of your own. So we're trying to give you options in addition to what we've always had. We have automatic temp file creation on a standby database, simplified AWR snapshots for active DataGuard, and PDB recovery isolation. And this is basically the ability to recover a PDB that had been created with the standby's none clause. So in the past, the DBA would be responsible for restoring and getting those data files available on the standby. Well, DataGuard can now do that for you. You don't have to do that on your own. So those are just a handful. I could go on, but I know our time is limited.
Sounds great. Just talking to one more question for you, Nitin. I know that your time is precious, and for you it's very late in the United States. Do you have any recommendation for customers around the world who are not using Active Data Guard yet?
So yes, I do. So, I've spoken to customers at various Oracle Cloud Worlds and Open Worlds, and there's kind of this continuum. Some are maybe just using RMAN, right? And RMAN's a great tool, but your recovery point and your recovery time objectives can be very, very high, right? So that's where DataGuard is a good solution to basically minimize both of those key objectives. DataGuard by itself can help you do that. Active DataGuard takes the one step further because we get this DML redirection, we get the automatic block repair when the media recovery is detected. DBMS rolling is part of that whole thing. So there's, as Francisco had mentioned at the start of the broadcast, it's not just for running a reporting application. Active DataGuard does so much more to ensure your data is safe, it's available. We're automatically fixing anything that could be caused by a bad disk or something. These are things that you don't get in the absence of DataGuard. You wouldn't even know the problem exists until you maybe go and have to, until you're faced with a problem.
Thank you so much, Nitin. And important to many customers and many the people that's watching this show is to also to understand that DataGuard is not only a disaster recovery solution. Because I always talk to the customers that where we have two main SLAs for a business, and the customers talk to us all the time, protect the RTO and the RPO. RTO, as I mentioned before, is the recovery time objective. It's how much time can the business afford to be without access to the data. And RPO, recovery point objective, how much data can we afford to lose in case of an incident of a disaster situation. Many people think that DataGuard is a solution only for disaster recovery. You need to understand this. HA solutions protect RTO. DR solutions protect the RPO. DataGuard is one of the key products that we have that's able to protect both. Because DataGuard is a HA solution, when you use of DataGuard with a local standby, generally you have your local standby on synchronous mode. They are together in the same data center that your primary is. And if you lost, one example, your cluster where your rack is no the primary rack is working, you have it for a very short role transition because it's synchronous and very close. You can switch to your local standby. That is a HA solution of DataGuard. But then you have your remote standby in a different region if it's possible, far away as possible to be protected in case of a natural disaster. If you have like us in Queensland, in Australia, just last week, we have a cyclone, they pass and stay over a week, basically where I live, we have floods everywhere. That kind of situation can happen. You want to have your DR site as further as possible that's not affected by that kind of natural disaster. And that's why DataGuard has that unique capabilities of provide HA solutions with local standbys and also disaster recovery solutions. Do you agree with that, Nitin?
Absolutely, 100%.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So back to Andreas. Let me just switch here for Andreas. Any feedback or recommendations to customers around the world they are not using Active DataGuard yet? As per your experience?
Yeah, actually, most of the thing that we are still using now is only on the reporting side, where or when we divert everything to the standby side, then all the reporting can be run, and it's definitely real time. The data is there, and it's not affecting the primary, so that is a good thing. And one other thing that mostly we on the production support team doing, sometimes we need to do some query, freeform queries, those kind of queries. If we are doing it in live production system, then definitely will jeopardize the availability. That's why mostly on those free forms queries, we always make sure that it is run on the standby side with the active data guard.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andreas. I'm just has a question here for Nitin. Let me just get you back here, Nitin. 1 second. And there we go. We have a question on chat. For everyone that is live on chat, you can do can you post your questions at any moment, and we will try to respond as soon as possible. If not, we're going to respond in the end of the show. We have a question that I don't know if you can see on the screen from Jackie. If the primary database has incident, auto failover to Active DataGuard, should we, in that case, I suspect using fast start failover, should we need to change any application connection for that?
Yes, so you'll have to set up your connect identifiers such that you'll have an address list of one as an example from primary and standby, and you have a service that's only published when the database is in the primary role. Using clusterware can help with the service management based on role type. If you're not using clusterware, you can set up a trigger based on this DB role change system event. to automatically publish a service after a database failover. But it will require you to go into your DNS names at Aura and set up your connect identifiers so that you can find all possible IP addresses where that primary service would be published. And we have plenty of collateral, MAA collateral that would demonstrate how to do that. Mm-hmm. But that does not require application change. That's just a configuration change for the database.
Mm-hmm. And also for the application, trying to make kind of universal connection service is we already have that with Real Application Cluster. The application connect to a service. The service connect to the rack itself. They don't know which instance of the database is connected to which node. And if one is down, they automatically will reconnect to the other one. But we also have with MAA another product called GDS. With GDS, you can stretch the service like you had before across the cluster, but across data centers. That means now you can have one only service that your application connect that is stretched about data center 1 and data center 2, that's for disaster recovery. You can make that service work based on load balancing on the row, where that's primary. And when a row transition happens, a switch over or failover, they will automatically redirect the service, making completely transparent to the application. That's also another option. Yes, just like a rack failover. Yep. Thank you so much, Jackie, for your question. If anyone has any more questions, please feel free to post at any time, and we will be answering as soon as possible. So, saying that, I will just do a brief explanation about what is MAA, and then we will be open to a whole Q&A in case anyone has any further questions. So, MAA, Maximum Availability Architecture, it's not a product, it's not a service, it's a framework that we have available that basically allows what's created, taking the knowledge from customers, internal metadata from Oracle support, from specialists around the world, and we created this framework to protect basically what we are talking during the show, your RTO and RPO, your high availability and protection of your data. That's key for every customer. We also understand that we cannot create one solution that fits everybody. So for that, we create different levels of protections depending on your requirements of RTO and RPO. We created 4 different levels: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. And the good about the MAA framework is that it's applied to any kind of implementations. If you have your database implemented on-prem, in the cloud, or use a hybrid implementation, or even if you use a multi-cloud, that doesn't matter. MAA will work the same way. You can be using also engineering systems, generic hardware on-prems. It's not a problem. You can implement MAA the same way. As you can see on the screen, we have many different kind of solutions for scale out and life cycle. We have for active replication modes with products. We have data protection, continuous availability, and high performance solutions that you can use it. So the maximum availability team is here to help you to use the products that we have within Oracle the best way possible to basically give you best return of investment. So we created these best practices and recommendations based on your requirements. So as you can see now on the screen, we have the 4 levels that are protection that we have recommended. We have the bronze. Bronze give you the lowest level of protections for RTO and RPO. And basically, you only protecting your data by using backups. in this case using RMAN. So in the silver, now you adding now protection for high availability. So in this case, now we adding real application cluster to protect that. So we need to understand that the level of protections are accumulative, is not replacing off. So when I talk that in silver, you need to use a high availability solution like RAC. You also need to use a protection of backups like using RMAN from bronze 2. Gold also add now disaster recovery capabilities to your environment. So now you need to introduce to this level data guard. And of course, data guard for protective for disaster recovery capabilities, real application cluster rack from the silver to protect your high availability, and also RMAN from the bronze to have backups. So you have different levels of protections. And then for organizations that need the highest level of protection for RTOs and RPO, because every customer that we talk with, they always want a RTO 0 and a RPO 0. We have platinum level protection that allow you, one example, to use in Golden Gate to have an active environment when you never lose your environment is always available with bidirectional replication, protected in the background by data guard, protected in the background with RAC and RMAN. So this is the level of protections that we're having with MAA. I recommend you to take a look, visit our page in oracle.com, Maximum Availability Architecture, and take a look and learn more about our recommendations and best practice, because that's our goal. Make use of the products that we have with Oracle the best way possible and allow your organizations to achieve the best return of investment. Let me check if we have any questions from the public. And yes, we have one question right here. Can generate AWR or ADDM report in active data guard environment? If possible, either it's Sherry Prime info or standby info. Do you want to respond that, Nitin?
Yeah, I'm not sure I completely follow the question. If they're looking for how to do this,
I suspect that what the question means is we have AWR automatic workload repository on the primary database, but now we have a standby database. Can we have AWR on the standby database? And if we have it, they will be showing information from the primary or the standby.
It would be for that it would be for the database that the report is generated from. Yeah, we had to. I can get more information, Francisco, and then you can maybe get it out to the audience. Is that possible?
Yeah, we can go give it that.
Yeah, make sure we answer the question correctly. Yeah.
And they will answer that the proper way. Yeah. No problem. Any other question? From any question from any other person in the chat? All right, looks like we do not have any questions at the moment. So in this case, I would like to say thank you so much to Andreas and Nitin for staying here with us today and to be part of this first version of the show. I know it's not perfect. It's the first time we're playing with this technology and trying to make everything work. But it was an enormous pleasure to have you here today, Andreas, talking about the BNA Bank in Indonesia, how you guys are using Oracle technologies, especially Active Data Guard and Exadata for your core banking solutions. And thank you so much for your time and for sharing the customer reference that was showing on the screen. and allow us to make it public. And
Yes. My
also,
pleasure, Francisco.
thank you so much, Andreas. And Nitin, also thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's very late for you, and hopefully we can do more shows and talk a little bit more about the fantastic work that you and your team does. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Francisco. It's my pleasure.
All right, I can see that I don't have any more questions. I know that this video will be available soon, a replay in the Oracle channels. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Also, I can reply and help. My email is francisco.munoz, munoz.alvarez, or you can see my name, basically, you can see in the screen, at oracle.com. As I mentioned before, I'm a distinguished product manager with MAA, and I will be happy to share any best practice and support any customer that need any help in the future. And saying that, thank you so much for everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show and looking forward for the next one. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.